Hello and welcome back to another video. I am so glad you're here. On this channel, I talk about news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet, and I certainly hope you will stick around. First things first, I just hit 4 years on YouTube. I am so appreciative of all the support I've received on here, all the wonderful people I now get to call friends. It's been an absolute life changer, and I am just so grateful for every single view, every single comment. I'm still working on everything. I just had a big fight with my tripod, so I'm using my old tripod. It's a long story. Hopefully this is not where we're landing. This is just where we are today. So last week I put a post on Threads asking for authors to send me the scammiest emails they've ever gotten sent. So despite not being an author myself, I get these pretty often too, and I thought it could kind of be funny and also a good way to learn what to look out for when these emails get sent. So here is the email that actually gave me the idea to make this video. Broadcast feature inquiry for your books from Favor Martin, which is favor7martin@gmail.com, to book lover Laura blog. Hello, I hope you are having a wonderful week. I've been following the reception of your books and truly appreciate the fresh perspective you bring to your writing. Your approach to storytelling connects perfectly with the kinds of narratives our audience appreciates. Who? I'm writing to you on behalf of the Author Credibility Society. Our team is currently structuring our next group of author segments, and I wanted to see if we might include your work in our upcoming broadcast schedule. Our international network reaches in over 100 countries, keeping a dedicated focus on independent publishing and original storytelling. Are you available for a brief exchange next week to see if it matches your current schedule? Best regards, Favor Martin. So this was obviously a scam because I am not an author, but let's pretend I am for a second. So first red flag is the very generic statements. I'm gonna go ahead and say this was written with AI, but even if it wasn't, nowhere does Favor Martin mention specifically what my book was about that she loved. That aside, let's also talk about the Author Credibility Society. Did they think if they just put credibility in the name that no one would then question it? Let's look at the website. Well, first thing I notice is author and credibility here at the top have no space between them. So off to a great start. Looking at it further, a premier literary community where great stories find their audience, celebrating exceptional authors, fostering meaningful literary discourse, and building a global community of passionate readers. Here is a little bit more. Our story, more than a book club, a literary institution. The Author Credibility Society. Now, shoot, because this one has no space between author and credibility also. Is that it's just a stylized version? Because Favor Martin sent it to me wrong then. That's not a good look. I don't know if I'm interested anymore. The Author Credibility Society was founded on a singular belief that literature has the power to transform lives, bridge cultures, and amplify voices that deserve to be heard. We curate exceptional reads, spotlight emerging and established authors, host immersive literary events, and cultivate a global community of readers who believe in the enduring power of storytelling. Not a whole lot of information there. Now let's see the authors page. All right, so this is Dr. Amara Osei, an award-winning novelist and professor of African diaspora literature at Columbia University. Her work explores the intersections of history, identity, and resilience across generations. Her literary achievements include being a National Book Award finalist in 2023, a PEN/Faulkner Award for Fiction, and a Guggenheim Fellowship recipient. So, according to this website, we can see this is Dr. Amara Osei, although a reverse image search will tell you that this is a podiatry assistant named Laura Smith. It could also be Natasha Charlton, a recruiter for Tesla. And under her literary achievements, going back to this, it mentions that she was a National Book Award finalist in 2023. Do they not realize that that information is incredibly easy to find? Straight from the National Book Award website, nothing by a Dr. Amara Osei was a finalist. Oh, and it gets better. So there are 3 notable works listed here: The Weight of Ink, Rivers of Memory, and The Last Migration. Except The Last Migration is by Charlotte McConaughey, Rivers of Memory is by Harry Middleton, and not only is The Weight of Ink by Rachel Kaddish, but it is listed elsewhere on the website as being authored by Rachel Kaddish. Now, a Google search shows that there are actually several real people named Amara Osei, but this does not appear to be one of them. There are 2 other authors listed on the website in the same fashion, and it's the same situation there. Stock photos, credentials that don't check out. Some other red flags. The only phone number listed is a WhatsApp number, and I know that in many countries that might not be notable or weird, but it does appear to be a US phone number, and that's not really common here at all. Additionally, if you click on any of their links on their socials, they all just link back to the page you're already on. So yeah, did I need to do this whole deep dive to know this was a scam? Not at all. But if you receive an email like this and are considering replying with interest, I encourage you to investigate deeply, or send it my way. I'll do it for you. But, don't give people like this money. So, the next one. This was sent to me by a dear friend, and it's just humorous. From Frida McFadden, mcfaddenfrida1@gmail.com. Hi, I hope you're doing well. I'm Frida McFadden, a fellow author, and I wanted to reach out because I really enjoyed your work. I always appreciate connecting with writers who understand the ups and downs of this path, and your storytelling really stood out to me. I'd love to connect, support each other, and possibly stay in touch. No pressure at all, just wanted to introduce myself and say I admire what you're doing. Best, Frida. Yeah, so Frida McFadden, who pushes out approximately 400 books a year, is gonna spend her time emailing authors to just trade tips. Completely legit, nothing to see here. I got an email a while back from someone claiming to be John Green, because he really loved my book, obviously. That one's just silly. So this next one is a bit tricky, and at first glance could definitely get someone if they weren't paying attention. So it says it's from Aaron Crum, HarperCollins@gmail.com. Well, there you go. The subject, an engaging sports romance filled with second chances and heart. Dear author, I hope you're doing well. My name is Aaron Crum, and I serve as the Senior Vice President, Corporate Communications and Publishers at HarperCollins Publishing Company. I recently came across your novel and was genuinely impressed by its blend of sports, romance, emotional growth, and second chance love. The chemistry between characters, combined with their personal journeys, promises a heartfelt and engaging story that I believe will resonate with many readers. I would love to learn more about your work and any future projects you may be developing. If you're represented by a literary agent, I'd be happy to continue the conversation through them. I look forward to hearing from you. With best wishes, Aaron Crum, Senior Vice President, Corporate Communications and Publishers, HarperCollins Publishing Company, and then it has her signature. So setting aside the fact that I'm pretty sure the Senior VP of Corporate Communications would not be moonlighting in the acquisitions department, few things jump out up. So, no one claiming to be from a Big Five publisher would be emailing from a Gmail account, a Yahoo account, a Hotmail account, anything that is not from that website. Dead giveaway. Aaron Crum is in fact the Senior VP of Corporate Communications at HarperCollins. And the signature is pretty similar to what I imagine the real Aaron Crum's looks like, except for hers probably has corporate spelled correctly. Now, I think it's quite clever of this person to include the line about if you have an agent, which kind of adds a little bit of legitimacy to the offer. But I can almost guarantee that if this email was replied to with the author's actual name and contact, Erin would move on to her new victim. But overall, if someone was not paying attention and just got blinded by the excitement of oh my God, HarperCollins wants to buy my book, this could be a scam that people actually fall for. Particularly, if you're an indie author who doesn't spend a lot of time online, you're kind of not really in the know about these kind of scams, I don't feel like that one would be blatantly obvious to someone who's maybe not well versed in this kind of thing. So while we're on the subject of HarperCollins, here's another one with like a little plot twist. From Jennifer Brell, Jennifer HarperCollins Publishers at AOL.com. Subject, editorial inquiry, re your novel and future project. Hello, blank. I hope this message finds you well. My name is Jennifer Brell and I serve as Senior Vice President, Executive Editor, and Director of Editorial Development at HarperCollins Publishers. Your novel, The Unseelie Prince, was recently brought to my attention and I want to take a moment to reach out to you directly. Bunch of words that seem to be written by not a human being. Again, asking about a literary agent, and then closing it, thank you again for your time and congratulations again. Okay, so just like in the last one, Jennifer Brell is a real person with the job title stated here, but I feel very confident that she does not use an AOL email address. And before I reveal the little twist, I want to note that the book mentioned here, The Unseelie Prince, is not in fact authored by the person who this email was sent to. Couldn't even bother to change the title, come on. So the author who received this email has actually already been published by HarperCollins. Scammers, come on, can we not do the bare minimum of research on the people we're trying to con? So the next one, absolute classic. Erica Murphy, contact at ericamurphy@gmail.com. Dear author, I hope this message finds you well. How are you doing today? I know how busy life can get, especially for someone pouring their heart and soul into their writing. So I truly appreciate you taking a moment to read this. My name is Erica Mae Murphy, and I am one of the active community members of The Book You Like Most, a Goodreads group that has grown into a vibrant family of over 50,000 active readers. We are ranked among the top 100 most popular groups on Goodreads, and our members are passionate, engaged, and always on the lookout for stories that move them. Then we have her describing this book based on, I'm guessing, things that are able to be, figured out from the synopsis. Here's where I would love to invite you in. Our community is currently running a 5-month reading challenge, and it's not just for readers. We have designed it to also celebrate and spotlight authors like you. Every month, we feature a selected book to our entire community through discussions, posts, and dedicated spotlights. We optimize the author's Goodreads page so it reflects the professional, compelling presence they deserve. We add the book to 10 to 15 curated lists each month to boost discoverability and visibility. And we welcome the author with a special introduction trailer so the community gets to know this person behind the pages. We do not treat this as a transaction, we treat it as a partnership. A chance to build a bridge between you and the readers who are genuinely hungry for meaningful stories. I am reaching out to you because I believe your book belongs in front of these readers. Because I think the message you have crafted deserves to be heard, and because, if I'm being honest, I would be doing our community a disservice if I did not at least ask if you'd be open to exploring this with us. There's no pressure, no hidden catch, and definitely no spam. Just an invitation from one book lover to another. So I really enjoy, there's a little more, but I really enjoy the footer, which says warmly, Erica Mae Murphy, active community member, book you like most. Her writing active community member reminds me of when Christina Kay said her daughters were active members of the LGBTQ plus community. Like, what does this even mean? If she was like the group moderator on Goodreads, wouldn't she say that? And anyway, that's not even the biggest problem here, because Erica Mae Murphy screwed up and forgot to remove her AI prompt. The AI prompt that was left in, this is too long, and also add a CTA at the end of the message. Here's a shorter, more concise version of the outreach template with a clear call to action at the end. And then, yes, of course, the shorter, more concise version was, in fact, included in the thread as well. Another one that is just embarrassingly bad is this one wanting to possibly option the film rights for this author's book. Hello, my name is Belly Nayla, and I am a creative executive at Lionsgate. We are reaching out because we are looking to adapt approximately 10 books into films this year, each from different authors. That is why you are receiving this message. If your book is selected for adaptation, it can create many valuable benefits for you as an author. It can increase your visibility, attract more readers, and bring greater attention to your work. A film adaptation can also help build your reputation, expand your audience, and open the door to new opportunities in publishing and entertainment. Most importantly, it can turn your story into something that reaches a much wider audience and leaves a lasting impact. Please reply with your book so that we can read it. If you're interested, reply with your book and I am interested. I'm so glad that Belly here thinks there will be valuable benefits to the author if their book is adapted into a film. Yeah, no shit. We've also got Lionsgate spelled two different ways, one where it's one word and another where it's two. And if you Google search for Belly Naila, all you will find is some belly dance videos and some nail salons because it thinks I spelled nail incorrectly. Now, obviously, the entire concept of this email is absurd to begin with, and I really hope no one would take this seriously, but you never know. Just remember that one of the easiest tells is that someone from a huge corporation is not going to be emailing you from a Gmail account. But sometimes you can't bank on using that alone. Exhibit A. From Hannah Taylor at CanelloPublishingLimited.com. Dear Blank, I hope you're having a great week. My name is Hannah Taylor and I am an editor at Canello Publishing Limited. I recently spent some time looking into your work, specifically the titles, and all of this is not particularly important what it actually says. I didn't actually do this, but I bet this is like the same exact format layout as these other emails. Maybe I'll look into it later. Anyways, they want to learn all about your project because the book is so good, oh my gosh. And this is interest of you. I'd be delighted to hear from you. Kind regards, Hannah Taylor, editor, Canello Publishing Limited. Luckily, the author that sent this to me was savvy enough to do her research. Again, very AI. But other than that, it appears to be legitimate on the surface, particularly with CanelloPublishingLimited.com email address doing some real heavy lifting. However, the website for the very legitimate Canello Publishing is actually canello.co. And Hannah Taylor, again, is a real editor for the Canello imprint August books. Oh, and she's commissioning narrative nonfiction, which is very much not the genre this author writes in. Rounding this out, I have two others that are just funny. I decided to check my spam folder one last time to see if I had any newer things in here to include in this video. And what do you know? I sure did. You guys have enjoyed these before. The subject line is, "Can we book lover Laura blog?" And then we've got Amanda Honor emailing me. "Book lover Laura blog. I want to share something with you. The readers who need your book are already looking for it. They just haven't found it yet. I found your work while scouting for Book Launch Boom and it stopped me. Your voice, your story, it's exactly the kind of writing our community gets excited about. We're an engaged reading platform built around discovery. Our readers don't browse passively. They show up specifically to find new books and new authors. Right now, we're hand selecting authors for a fresh round of features, and I think you belong in this group. Book lover Laura blog. Here's the practical side. You control your listing entirely. There are no service fees, and the one-time $30 membership gets your account live and in front of readers who are actively waiting for something like what you've written. Book lover Laura blog, I don't send this invitation to every author I find. I sent it to you because I believe your book deserves to be found. Want me to walk you through the full picture? All the best. Amanda Honor, editor, Book Launch Boom." Guys, I'm not an author. And this might come as a shock, but my name isn't actually Book Lover Laura blog. Two more quick ones, absolutely incredible. This one comes from Johnny Agency, johnnyproagency@gmail.com. "Good day, blank. I recently came across your book and was genuinely impressed by your quality of storytelling. It's evident you've invested a great deal of passion into your work, and I believe it has the potential to reach a much broader audience with the right marketing strategy. I'd love to learn more about your goal as an author. Whether you're looking to increase book sales, grow your readership, strengthen your author brand, or create opportunities for future projects, I'd be happy to share practical strategies that can help you move closer to your goals, whatever. The rest of this is not really important. But the signature says, best regards, Johnny Agency." If you get an email from anyone and their name is the same as their profession, That's definitely something that should be looked into. It's not impossible, but like, Johnny Agency. I genuinely cackled when I read this for the first time. I honestly applaud the brazenness of just like going for it and like with a hope and a prayer thinking maybe someone won't look too closely. That one just killed me. It's also funny that the subject line is exploring film/TV potential and the email mentions nothing about either of those. This last one is just laughably bad, and they've all been pretty bad, but this might be my favorite of all, so let's go through it. All right, on Thursday, June 18th, 2026 at 8:12 p.m., Info Penguin Michael McLaughlin House, and the email address there is infopenguinmichaelmclaughlinho@gmail.com. So this email is, this address is not really super convincing right off the bat, but let's carry on. I hope you're doing well. My name is Brendan Deenan. If this is Brendan, who is Michael? I am already confused. I'm a publisher and executive director of media, TV, and film at Blackstone Publishing. I thought you worked for Penguin Random House. Now I'm really confused because this says Blackstone Publishing. I thought he was from Penguin, although I suppose that was an assumption on my part based on the email address, my bad. Also note that this job title was clearly copy and pasted from somewhere else because why is the font in different colors and a different font? Come on, Michael Brendan, put in the effort here, just a little. It goes on to say, in development with a focus on identifying and advancing compelling literary works for broader opportunities, including potential adaptation into film and television. That is not a complete sentence. I have taken the time to review your work and I find your writing and overall direction genuinely engaging. It reflects a level of creativity and structure that aligns strongly with the type of projects I typically seek to develop further. As part of my current focus, I am exploring promising books. We continue, again, asks if you are represented by an agent. I trust this message will be of interest and I will await your response. And this entire signature is a disaster because it's listed as being from Michael McLaughlin. Again, what happened to Brendan? Don't know. It says managing director of Penguin Random House Ireland and publisher for Sandy Cove, which is an Irish imprint of Penguin Random House. And yes, this is the real Michael McLaughlin pictured, but I don't know if he knows that he's also Brendan and also the executive director of media, TV, and film for Blackstone Publishing. Now, obviously, I am joking when I say that scammers need to try harder, because I would love nothing more for them to go away entirely. But if we can't laugh at them, then we'll cry, right? Anyways, I know this is a departure from what I normally post. I have a couple pretty large projects kind of going on in the background, so I thought this would be something to kind of break it up and to be able to share something while I'm kind of in deep to those. I also thought it could be helpful to point out some common author scams. And hey, apparently you don't even need to be an author because I get these. I want to finish up with 2 TikToks from authors who have nearly fallen for these scams and some other things to look for.
If you have a dream, you're going to have people who want to use that dream to scam you. And it sucks. Let me explain. So you might have seen before how I joke that one of my big dreams as an author is to someday be walking through the airport and see my book on the shelf, right? And sneak in and sign my books. Well, so that made it really interesting when yesterday I got an email from Hudson Booksellers. Now, immediately my warning flags went off. So they reached out to me through my company, first of all. So they used my company website to reach out to me, which seemed a little strange, but made sense because that's the main email people can generally find for me online. But they used my full name when they addressed me in the email. I don't use my full name on my book. I say Anna on my book, not my full first name. So that was a immediate, Then they reference that we read your book on Kindle, like the Kindle edition. Why would Hudson Booksellers, who sells physical books, reference that they read and are interested in my Kindle edition of my book? So there's a couple red flags. Also, just the fact of the matter is, Hudson Books does not reach out to independent authors. They go through publishers. They go through wholesale. Like, they don't reach out. Okay? But the email was very convincingly written. But beyond that, if you look here at the bottom, they used a real employee's name. When I looked her up on LinkedIn, she really exists, and she really works for Hudson Booksellers. But here are a couple other flags. Along with using the wrong name, my full name instead of the abbreviated that I use on the title, along with saying, oh, we read the Kindle edition. If you look here at the bottom, they actually link to the real web page, which is what most people would click on when they're hoping to see, is this a scam or not? They're going to click on that little link at the bottom, and they actually use the real Hudson Bookseller link. But if you look at her email address, there's a hyphen in there. Now, the way they sculpted this or shaped this, it looks like the hyphen is there because of a line break. You don't ever line break an email address with a hyphen. Then when I opened the email further and I looked at the address at the top, again, it had a hyphen in it. Thus, it's not from hudsonbooksellers.com. But this email was well done. And if you just glanced at it, you'd think it was real. It is not. And these are getting so much more prevalent and so much more sophisticated. It's really disheartening, especially as I'm still in the query process for my novel title and just, trying to get my book Fuck It, Watch This out there some more. This kind of stuff sucks, but I just wanted to call other people's attention to it. If you're getting an email from Hudson Booksellers right now, no, you're not. Sorry. Hope this helps.
And one more, which is a scam that I didn't really mention at all earlier, but here you go.
I don't even know how to start this. So, it's no secret that independent authors are at risk of being scammed by AI bots the most. I think on any given week, our business email gets a handful of scams trying to market like review services or marketing strategies and stuff. So this morning I woke up and we had gotten an email from a public library out in Oregon, and we were so thrilled to read this email because it sounded so genuine, that they actually read Flameheart, that they actually read and understood the message, and that they loved this fantasy book, and that they loved the heart of it, and that they really wanted to work with us. They wanted to do an author spotlight featuring our book and featuring us and interviewing us, and we were like, wow, we're here on the East Coast, so the fact that like some random library out in Oregon somehow, thanks to the beauty of social media and word of mouth, found out about our little indie book, like that's amazing. And we were so excited. We replied and said, yes, absolutely, thank you so much. They were super complimentary until we got a reply back, and it was not what I thought it was. And it's really sad and disheartening because it feels like, as an indie author, you are constantly shouting into a void to begin with. And so for someone to try to take advantage of someone who, A, doesn't make a lot of money through this to begin with, we see this as a ministry and try to shed some light into an area that is increasingly dark for the young adult genre in particular. So we're really just trying to bring something out into that niche for people that are kind of, looking for something different, and someone willing to talk about mental health when it comes to young adults. And so we never went into this wanting to make money. Break even? Yeah. But for someone to try to get us to basically fork over money for a spotlight off of a public library, that didn't sit well with me at all. So I looked at the email address a little closer than I did at 6 o'clock in the morning before I had my coffee. And I found the public library. I went to the contact page. They had an email listed, and it did not match the email that was communicating with us about this endeavor. And so I knew right then and there that it was a scam. And that's pretty heartbreaking. It's a pretty low blow to kind of be fooled in such a way. I feel a little silly, but I'm trying not to, speak too poorly about myself. Didn't reek of AI. It read like they read the book. And I think this is just me trying to tell you, if you are an indie author, no one should be asking you for money to feature you in something unless you are reaching out for that purpose. Like if you are reaching out to, like, for example, a book promotion company that works with influencers, if someone reaches out to you unprompted and does this whole bait and switch, saying how much they loved your book, how much they believe in you as a writer, and how they want to help lift you up, and we can do that for a small fee to help cover the cost of this, then they're not being authentic.
So what I hope you take away from this video is that although unfortunately these people are out there, you can protect yourself by asking questions and using others in the community as a resource. No legitimate marketer or agent or publisher, whoever, is going to mind you asking a lot of questions to verify who they are. And if they start to have an issue with it, then congratulations, you just saved yourself from a scam. I am never going to blame a victim in any part, but prevention is so much easier than trying to recover money. So please be diligent in researching before giving anyone your hard-earned money. For my indie author spotlight today, I'm featuring Bethany Baker, who writes queer and gender nonconforming monster and paranormal romance that blends the familiar and the fantastical, the erotic and the emotional, the silly and the sexy into one downright tasty concoction. Her latest release is Hers on the Silver Screen, claimed by the movie star. It's the second book in the Femme Alpha Fatale's Omegaverse series, which are interconnected standalones where she's the strong, tall, brooding alpha. Hers on the Silver Screen is an enemies to lovers romance that takes place on a movie set in gorgeous and otherworldly New Zealand. Follow Milo, a secret Omega stunt doubling for the villain, as he reluctantly falls for Christine, a charming and electric superhero movie star with secrets of her own. With sharp banter, fast-paced action, and a unique twist on shifters in Omegaverse, this relentlessly hot romance doesn't let up. And if that's up your alley, don't miss book 1 in the series, Hers by Moonlight, claimed by the billionaire, which features reverse grumpy sunshine, forbidden workplace romance, and assigned male at birth non-binary representation. Down in the description will be a link to purchase Bethany's book along with her social media links. Indie authors are a vital part of the bookish community, so try to support them wherever you can, even if that's just a follow on social media. And if you'd like the chance to be a featured indie author, there is a form down in the description. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. Check out my Discord link down in the description if you'd like to join us over there. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!